Have you ever wondered what it took for India to gain its independence from British rule? Today, we delve into a pivotal chapter of India's freedom struggle, the Quit India movement. Launched in the heart of the Second World War in 1942, this movement marked a significant turning point in India's quest for self-rule. At the helm of this powerful call for an end to British rule was the iconic figure of Mahatma Gandhi. His clarion call of "Do or die" echoed across the length and breadth of the country, stirring the hearts of millions of Indians. His unwavering belief in non-violence and civil disobedience became the guiding principles of the movement, inspiring countless freedom fighters and common folk alike to join the cause. The Quit India movement was not just about demanding immediate independence, it was a testament to the indomitable spirit of a nation yearning for freedom. The Quit India movement was a decisive moment in India's history that set the stage for its eventual independence. So, how did the Quit India movement come about? It began as a simmering undercurrent, a growing dissatisfaction among the Indian populace. The roots of this discontent can be traced back to the oppressive, exploitative policies of the British Raj. Indians were treated as second-class citizens in their own country. Their resources were plundered and their economy was left in tatters. The masses were not just discontent, but were also becoming increasingly restless. The British Raj, with its divide and rule policy, had sown the seeds of division among various communities, thus stifling a unified rebellion. But the growing disenchantment was gradually bridging these divides. The Indians were beginning to realize that their common enemy was the colonizer, and the struggle for independence was a shared cause. The role of World War II in escalating the demand for independence cannot be overstated. The war had drained Britain's resources, and it was becoming increasingly difficult for them to maintain their hold over India. The war had exposed the vulnerability of the British Empire, and the Indians were keen to seize this opportunity. Furthermore, the war brought home the stark reality that while the British were fighting for freedom and democracy in Europe, they were denying the same rights to their colonies. This irony was not lost on the Indian masses, and it fueled their desire for independence. The Indian National Congress, under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, took note of this rising discontent. Gandhi, with his knack for leveraging the public sentiment, called for the Quit India movement in August 1942. His call was simple yet powerful. Do or die. He urged the Indians to demand immediate independence from British rule, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. This was the genesis of the Quit India movement, a movement born out of dissatisfaction, nurtured by the collective desire for freedom, and propelled by the visionary leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. The seeds of the Quit India movement were sown in this climate of discontent and the desire for freedom. The stage was set, and then came the launch of the Quit India movement. Picture it, if you will, the 8th day of August in the year 1942. A date that would forever be etched in the annals of India's freedom struggle. A day that witnessed the great Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, deliver the defining speech of the resistance movement. This was the speech that would ignite the flame of defiance against British rule. A speech that echoed with the powerful mantra, "Do or die." The venue was the Gwalior Tank Maidan in Bombay, now known as Mumbai. It was here that Mahatma Gandhi, in his characteristic calm and composed demeanor, delivered his impassioned plea to the people of India. He called on them to persist in their demand for independence, no matter the cost. He urged them to do so with the spirit of non-violence, a principle he held close to his heart and propagated throughout his life. On this same day, the All India Congress Committee, the driving force behind the independence movement, stepped up to the podium. They took an unprecedented step, passing a resolution that demanded nothing less than complete independence from British rule. This was a clear and bold statement, a direct challenge to the British Raj. It was a call to every Indian, regardless of their caste, creed, or religion, to unite under the banner of freedom. The resolution was a watershed moment. It was not just a political statement, it was a declaration of intent, a promise of the dawn of a new era. It was a call to action that reverberated across the length and breadth of the Indian subcontinent, mobilizing millions in the struggle for freedom. And so, on that fateful day, the Quit India movement was launched. a movement that would play a pivotal role in India's fight for independence, a movement that would shake the very foundations of the British Empire. With this, the Quit India movement was officially underway, marking a new chapter in India's struggle for independence. The Quit India movement was not just a protest, it was a revolution. This movement was not limited to a few leaders or any specific region. It was a national call to arms that resonated with every nook and corner of the country. From the bustling cities to the rural heartlands, from the educated elite to the common laborers, everyone stood united under the banner of freedom. This unity gave birth to a wave of civil disobedience that swept across the country like a storm. Everywhere, Indians were refusing to cooperate with the British rule. They boycotted British goods, refused to pay taxes, and even resigned from government jobs. The strength of their resolve was such that it shook the foundations of British rule in India, and the British authorities were left scrambling to maintain control. In an attempt to suppress the movement, the British government resorted to mass arrests. Key leaders and thousands of protesters were imprisoned, but this did not dampen the spirit of resistance. If anything, it only fueled the fire of rebellion. These arrests, these attempts to silence the voices of freedom were met with even more determination and resolve. But what was the impact of the Quit India movement on British rule? It was monumental. The British authorities had always been able to control previous protests and movements, but the Quit India movement was different. It was larger, stronger, and more determined. This movement exposed the vulnerability of the British Empire and made it clear that their rule in India was no longer tenable. The Quit India movement was a clear demonstration of the strength and unity of the Indian people. It was a testament to their desire for freedom and their willingness to fight for it. It was a movement that marked the beginning of the end of British rule in India. Despite the challenges, the Quit India movement shook the foundations of British rule in India. The strength and determination of millions of Indians had made an indelible impact, and the dream of an independent India was closer than ever before. What happened after the Quit India movement, and what legacy did it leave behind? In the wake of the Quit India movement, the landscape of the Indian subcontinent was forever altered. Not long after the movement's climax, the British government, recognizing the strength and determination of the Indian people, began to release the leaders who had been imprisoned for their involvement. These leaders, their spirits undimmed and their resolve unbroken, returned to the forefront of the fight for independence. In the years that followed, negotiations between the Indian National Congress and the British government intensified. This was a pivotal time, as it marked a significant shift in the British government's stance on Indian independence. They began to realize that it was not a question of if, but when India would gain its freedom. The Quit India movement had demonstrated in no uncertain terms the unyielding desire of the Indian people to be free from British rule. The legacy of the Quit India movement is an enduring one. It was a testament to the power of nonviolent resistance and the indomitable spirit of the Indian people. It showed the world that a determined people, united by a common cause, could challenge an empire and emerge victorious. The Quit India movement was not just a chapter in the history of India's struggle for independence. It was a turning point. Today, the Quit India movement is remembered as a defining moment in India's journey to independence. It is a symbol of the courage, resilience, and determination of the Indian people. It is a reminder of the sacrifices made and the hardships endured in the quest for freedom. It serves as a beacon of inspiration for future generations, a testament to the power of the people when they stand up against injustice and oppression. So, what happened after the Quit India movement? India continued its struggle, propelled by the momentum of the movement. And what legacy did it leave behind? A legacy of courage, resilience, and an undying spirit of resistance. A legacy that continues to inspire and motivate the generations that have come after. The Quit India movement was a pivotal moment that accelerated India's march towards freedom. So, what have we learned about the Quit India movement? The Quit India movement, also known as the India August movement, was a significant milestone in India's struggle for independence. It all began with the genesis of the movement, the growing dissatisfaction with British rule, which led to the call for do or die, an intense push for immediate independence. This call was not just a slogan, but a launch of a powerful movement that swept across the nation. As it progressed, the movement shook the very foundations of British rule in India, leading to an impactful wave of non-violent protests, strikes, and demonstrations. This wave didn't crash without leaving its mark. The aftermath of the Quit India movement was profound, shaping the legacy of India's freedom struggle. It set the stage for the eventual independence of India and left an enduring symbol of the indomitable spirit of a nation yearning for freedom. The Quit India movement was more than a historical event. It was a testament to the indomitable spirit of a nation yearning for freedom.